Today's episode, you guys, is brought to you by Perfect Storm Real Estate Specific Software. It's the website I use in my business. I'm actually a partial owner within the company that's been able to give my input to help create a piece of software that is uber effective at lead generation in our real estate businesses. That website, www.perfectstormnow.com. Go check that out. It's amazing, epic front-end lead generation site that's extremely affordable for real estate agents out there. Also, today's episode is brought to you by our 90-day mastery bootcamp. If you're in the real estate industry, if you're wanting to take your business to the next level, this is a gnarly, crazy experience. We go through for 90 days straight. There's there is 13 total sessions that we go through. Each weekly session is about 2 to 3 hours long every single week. Plus, you have daily access to me going through the experience through the group. So to check out more about that program, we roll those out about every 90 days. We stagger them once in a while, but we do about 3 or 4 of those every single year. So if you want to spend the next 90 days with me, about 40 hours of just crazy epic content helping your business take it to the next level, go to www.90daymastery.com. That's our sales page. You can see testimonials, learn more about the product, and register and sign up right there. If you are signing up, make sure to use the promo code LiveMastery, all caps, all together, all one word, LiveMastery. It saves you $500. It makes that whole entire 90-day coaching experience only $997 for you guys. So, all right, let's jump on in. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another episode of Leveling Up. So, made some changes in the studio, got some new equipment, some new sick, badass mics, trying to take it to the next level. So, a little different setup than we usually have in here. But anyway, wanted to create this quick episode on Leveling Up every single week here on the GSD Mode Network, gsdmode.com. I do a weekly leveling up episode where I just talk about certain things in life of how to level up, things that I've done, things that I'm doing, things that are maybe challenging, different challenges I've been through with that. So today's session, you guys, I really want to talk to you about, and I've been kind of really thinking about like what kind of add some different flavor to the show, because I'm up here every single week talking. I don't know how many episodes of this I've done, but it's like kind of start to like, well, what the hell am I supposed to talk about, right? So then I was sitting there thinking, well, how can I? Because there's so much great content out there. How can I start delivering some new, fresh ideas, right? So kind of turning Leveling Up into almost a little bit of I don't want to say a book club, but kind of a little bit of a book club, right? So when I talk to you guys, I figured with this Leveling Up episode, I talk with you about a different book that I'm reading every single week. What that book is really about, the power that it brings to me in my world, and how I'm applying that and how I'm helping leveling up. So I want to do that with you today. So right now, I'm not completed with it, but I'm reading an awesome book out there called Ready, Fire, Aim. Right, so it's a business book on how to take your business from really the zero mark to the 100 million plus a year mark in revenue. It's written by an entrepreneur himself who's built many businesses that have brought him in hundreds of millions of dollars worth of revenue, right? Or I shouldn't say revenue. I mean hundreds of millions of dollars worth of net income that he's been able to build this empire on. So in that book, he really goes deep into the different strategies, different stages of each business, and he talks in there about which is probably the stage that most of us are in, right? So most of us that are maybe getting started with business, or even when we're doing this a little while and trying to take it to the next level, but it was really that infancy stage, which is getting to the point where you're doing over $1 million a year in revenue, and what your focus needs to be in that stage. And I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool book. I've never really heard anybody sell it the way that he sells it, or pitch it the way they pitched it. But he basically says, okay, all entrepreneurs out there, all business owners, everybody has 2 jobs. Like, you've got the job of the business that you're in. So, like, for example, real estate, right? First business I got started in, 23 years old, spent a decade building that business up. So I was a realtor. That was one of my hats, one of my jobs. My other job, though, is marketer, right? But so many people focus so hard on just the one job of, let me go out there and be the best realtor I possibly can be. Not saying that that's not important, but marketing trumps all. Like, marketing is everything. If you're not taking action, if you're not getting sales, everything else becomes irrelevant. Like, I don't care if you have a PhD in real estate, you can be the smartest most brilliant cat when it comes to real estate. But if you can't market yourself, if you can't market your service, if you can't get sales, all of that becomes irrelevant. So he talks about what's that correct ratio? What is the correct ratio for somebody in this stage that they need to be need to be focusing on in their marketing compared to being in their actual business? And it's 80-20. So he says in there, when you're in this stage, which again means $0 to $1 million plus a year in revenue, 80% of your time must be spent on marketing. He says in there, it's a pretty cool, can't remember the quote exactly, but he says something like, I've never seen a business go out of business because they didn't have enough computers, but I've seen a ton of businesses go out of business because they didn't have enough sales. Like in that beginning, in that infancy stages, your sole job, dude, is sell, sell, sell. Spend that other 20% of the time perfecting your craft, being that great at that, at that field that you're in. But you got to go out there and sell the hell out of whatever you're doing. Spending that time in marketing, and I found this to be massively true. In every business that I've ever created as well, it's really rung true. Like look at like real estate, dude. I got in the business. I started cranking out prospecting, open houses, visiting 100 people every single day at my at Home Depot, banging out open houses every single day before I had a sale, before I knew what the hell I was doing. 23-year-old kid with zero experience, but I knew I had to go out there and sell. Other things, other products, other businesses I've created, some of my online businesses, I went out there and started selling before I even have a product. I had an idea for a product, but you don't always know what that product's going to be until you deliver it to the marketplace. When we go out there, when you're looking at the marketplace, like you think you know what they want, you think you know it's going to be great, but maybe you don't. I found a lot of times where like what I thought people wanted was quite opposite of what they showed me that they wanted, right? So I went out there and done those sales. I've had so many businesses. Actually, I have one going on right now that we started doing all of our sales. We brought on a ton of clients, tremendous amount of business before the LLC was formed up, before we had all this stuff into place. Now, most people would do it the opposite. They'd go out there and get all those other things aligned together first. Oh, let me go get the pretty website, the pretty logo, make sure all this stuff is brilliant. Let me go get the bank account set up, whatever it may be, before they go out there and start selling. Massive mistake. I can't tell you. Most of my businesses, I think all of my businesses, I can't think of one that I haven't. The time I opened up my checking account was when I actually had a check to cash into my business account because I already went out there and made that sale first. That's when I had to open my business checking account, right? So really think about this, you guys. Be uber focused on selling if you're doing under 7 figures a year. So let's say you are a real estate agent. We have a lot of real estate agents that listen to this channel, the show. If you're doing under $1 million in GCI a year, in revenue that's coming in, that doesn't mean that's what you're making a year. That means what's the revenue that you're bringing in. Because generally, like in real estate, it depends on if you're an individual agent, you might be netting more like a 65, 75% profit margin. Most team leaders are like 30, 35%. So $1 million GCI, most team leaders are going to be making about $350K a year, right? But if you're doing under 7 figures, 80% of your day has to be uber focused on going out there and just selling a shit ton of product, right? That's your main and only focus. Sell. Be uber focused on that, making sure that 20% of your time is on that. So highly recommend the book. I'm still crushing through it. The book has really been it's almost like a blueprint. More so than just your typical book. It's really a tactical strategy guide, step by step, different with different phases. So it really becomes more of a playbook. So if you're an entrepreneur that wants to take your business next level, highly recommend it, you guys. It's been pretty epic. So make sure that you're getting your hustle on. Make sure that you're analyzing your schedule. One thing I do every day, in addition to that, just to make sure that I'm on track, is I spend 20 minutes every single day taking a pause. Let me pause for 20 minutes. Let me reflect. Let me go through everything that I've been doing, and everything, not just from my business, but also my personal life. I go through everything that I've been doing, and I break it down. I go, okay, is all this getting me where I want to go? And I'm reflecting, I'm analyzing that, and then making sure that 80% of my time is going to be focused on marketing, 80% of the time is focused on my sales, and paying attention. We got to be cognizant of it. And I get it so damn hard, because then too, what happens is you start getting the business, and then you want to fulfill on that business. But you got to fulfill on that business. You got to deliver world-class service, but then you still have to make sure 80% of your time is selling. So it becomes this hardcore juggling, balancing act. that exists out there. Like my webinar business. I remember when I first started doing webinars, my first launch, had a very successful launch, did like $104,000 in revenue in our first 4 weeks, which was, I think I spent like $28,000. So it was like a net of, whatever, you can do the math there, in 4 weeks on something that was my first time at doing. Well, now I had this group that I had to go fulfill on. I had to go out there and coach them and consult them for a certain gap of time. But I knew at that point I couldn't just jump in there and consult them. I had to jump in there and consult them and deliver a massive value to them. But I had to also keep selling my ass off. So it's like, okay, every time that I'm doing a fulfillment with a client or working in the business, I got to understand that my other 80% of my time, whatever that is, whatever that ratio is spent on those marketing and sales. So I'm always paying attention how much my time is going to marketing, how much is going to sales, how much is going to fulfillment, how much is going to working in the business. You got to be able to grasp it. Businesses fail. 90% of all businesses fail within 5 years. And it is not because of undercapitalization. It is not because, it's solely because they didn't focus on the wrong things. Where you focus on is where you wind up. The heartbeat of businesses is really sales, right? The only way sales are going to happen is for you to execute, take massive action on going out there and marketing. So you got to be focused on those right things. Take that massive hustle. And I know I talked about this. I can't remember when. Sometime last week in one of our episodes. Another book that I just recently read, Ryan Blair's "Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain." We talked about, hey, as an entrepreneur, especially starting out entrepreneur, as you're really developing your wings and you're on your road to success. He goes, you get to work. The cool thing is entrepreneurs, you get to pick any hours that you want to work. He goes, pick any 17 hours of any day, 7 days a week, and those are the hours you get to work, right? And then you can sleep and take off the other time that you want to take. So that's the amount of hustle it takes, and then making sure that 80% of that time is really devoted into that. And it might take you a few years to really get off the ground running, and then at that point, though, that revenue starts coming in, where then you can delegate a lot of these tasks, put other people into place, and keep rolling with it. So anyway, you guys, make sure that you're guarding your focus as if your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. For most of you, for most of us, 80% of our time must be focused on marketing, must be focused on sales, 20% inside that actual business that we run, the other 80% on marketing, on sales, and making shit happen. So anyway, hope you guys find this helpful. If there's anything that you need, hit me up anytime. Have an epic day, and we'll talk to you guys really soon. Peace.